What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. So I wanted to kind of get on here and give you guys a breakdown on how to kind of take a dynasty team and kind of break it down and kind of start over. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and run my intro. Good morning, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've been able to come on and drop some content, but I was looking at an interesting dynasty team that I started last year in a startup. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of break down my team, how my draft went, and what my team looks like today, and what I plan on doing with this team. So, using Sleeper on the computer is a bit different. So I'm going to look for my draft results, which y'all just give me a second. Should be able to find it shortly. Yeah, it's just a lot different on the computer, but if I can't find the previous draft through the computer, I'll look at it through my phone while I show you guys everything else. So for the fact of sharing through the computer, this is the best I can do for now. So my team as currently constructed is Jalen Hurts, Devin Singletary, Roshan Johnson, A.J. Brown, Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Trey McBride, A.T. Perry, Juju Smith-Schuster, Treylon Burks, and Osborne, and Aiden O'Connell is my QB2 right now. And this is a pretty bad roster. Cunningham, Trubisky, just a bunch of Jags. Kendra Miller, nice little piece, Dynasty. And then in my taxi squad, I have Hayner, I have Strong, I have Khalil Shakir, I have Dontavian Wicks, who I am big on, and then I have Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell, I want to say, let me see where I drafted Keaton Mitchell. So I picked him up in the draft at pick 2209. That's great value. And then in terms of Dontavian Wicks, I got him from waivers. So these are two guys that I was big on and I was able to snag in multiple leagues, snagging Wicks and Keaton Mitchell. But here are my draft picks right now. I have the 103, the 108, the 205, 207, 208, 209, 203. I don't know why Sleeper has these picks backwards, but it's all good. I have the 303, 305, 308, 309, 311. Excuse me. And then I have a couple of fourth round picks, 403 and 409. And I'm still trying to acquire more picks because I want to go into the draft with as many draft picks as possible. While I have this up, let me go ahead and log into my team on my phone so I can break down what I was able to do in the draft and how I was able to, start this team. So on the phone, it's easier to get into the draft results. So in my first year of this league, my team goes as follows. I took Jalen Hurts at the 104. Okay. So obviously you guys see Jalen Hurts is still on my team. At the 208, I took A.J. Brown. I wanted to have my first A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts stack. So that was accomplished. Then I took JSN at 304. It might be a little bit too high at the time, but I was just so high on Jalen Hurts. I mean, on Jackson Smith and Jigba that now he's going like in the 6th to 7th to 8th round in startups because he didn't have the season that he wanted to have. But with Tyler Lockett leaving, I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to have a great season coming up. Last year, 63 receptions for 628 yards and 4 touchdowns. I expect all these numbers to skyrocket next year. Hopefully, 1,000-yard season for Smith and Jigba. And the 409, this is when Drake London used to go a little bit higher. Took him there, and he's a guy that I kept on the squad moving forward. Trey McBride, I got him at the 1304. I was big on Trey McBride, and he broke out this year, and I expect him to be even better next year. Some people are considering Trey McBride as the tight end 2 in Dynasty right now. George Pickens. Now, I had George Pickens. I drafted him in the 6th round at the 609. But what I did was I traded George Pickens to get Chris Godwin, Devin Singletary, and a 24 second. That 24 second ended up being a 205. So I'll take that value all day long. Now, I did mess up in the trade of Chris Godwin, but I'm going to break that down in just a minute. I had Treylon Burks at the 704. He was a dud. David Montgomery at 1205 is a great value. Kirk Cousins at the 507. Okay. And I was able to trade Kirk Cousins for a draft pick, a first round pick in 24, which that pick ended up turning out to be 108. That's great value. Give me the 108 over Kirk Cousins all day long. At the 108, you have your picks of the receivers that fall, possibly the RB1 in the rookie draft, as well as you could take a guy like JJ McCarthy. You can take a guy like Bo Nix if you want to replace and grab another quarterback. Now, you would say, why would you get a quarterback for a quarterback? I get it, but at the time, Kirk was hurt, and my team wasn't going anywhere, so I just kind of blew up my team at that point. And getting the 108 for Kirk Cousins is definitely great value. We don't even know where Kirk Cousins ends up this offseason. And then how does he recover from that injury? I took guys like Alexander Madison for the 1409 at the 1409, and I traded Alexander Madison for a 24 second. Let me see what that 24 second later on. It probably became like a 208, 209. I have that long string of second round picks. That's great value because Madison, I mean, he is what he is. Adam Thielen, I had this guy. I took him in round 18. I was able to flip him for a 24 second and a 24 third. I loved that value. And I believe that I got my second back. So if it's my second back, that's a 203. That's 203 right there. So that's excellent value to get 203 and a 24 third. That is amazing for Adam Thielen. What else was I able to draft that's notable? We already talked about Keaton Mitchell. So that's pretty much the draft. And now I'm going to start to talk about how I was able to break down my team. David Montgomery, I traded him for I traded Montgomery and I got Derrick Henry and a 24 third. Then I took Derrick Henry. Let me find Derrick Henry over here. I just pretty much just broke down my team to the studs. So I traded Derrick Henry and I got back a 24 second and a 25 third. So pretty much I traded Montgomery for 2 seconds and a 25 third. That's kind of how you break down your team. You want to get as many assets. And when it comes to drafting rookies, I'm not saying that I'm a pro. What I am saying is that if you give me enough picks, I'm going to get enough hits. So the more you draft, the more you have potentially more success at guys hitting. For example, for those of you guys that drafted Dontavion Wicks, sorry, not Dontavion Wicks, sorry, Rashee Rice and Jaden Reed. I meant Jaden Reed, not Wicks. So for those of you guys that took Reed and Rice and some of these rookies mid to late second, and even Tank Dell in the third, Puka Nacua in the third and fourth, those guys hit, and I guarantee you guys that most of your first round, second round picks did not hit or did not have the season that you wanted them to have. Imagine drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first two or three picks, and he doesn't give you that production. But then you take a guy like Puka, close to being undrafted, and then he goes berserk. So the more picks you have, the more that you can do. So looking at my squad right now and breaking down my team as much as I was able to do it, I traded, like I told you guys, Chris Godwin. So I traded Chris Godwin, and I got a 25 second and A.T. Perry. Now that's not a ton of value for a Chris Godwin. Let me go back and look at that deal just to make sure. So I traded Chris Godwin, and I got A.T. Perry, a 25 second and a 24 third. See, that 24 third is key because that 24 third ended up being 303. So being that I'm breaking down my team to kind of build it back up, keeping Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown as my studs of this team, and then, building around Drake London and Smith and Jigba, and then to have up to 13, 14 picks in a draft. At 103, I can go Drake May. Okay. I could go Jaden Daniels. I can go Marvin Harrison, and I'm fine with either one of those three options. Hopefully, Marvin falls to 3, but if he doesn't, Drake May is a guy that I'm grabbing a lot in drafts, and I don't mind grabbing Drake May at the 101 if he goes to Washington. Yes, I've said that. Now, at the 108, it's so many different options, right? So let me do a mock draft, a quick little mock draft to end this video. Let's see if it helps me, if it allows me to do a mock draft. So that way you guys can kind of see how I'm going to utilize these picks. So at the 101, Jaden Daniels went, Caleb Williams goes. Now you guys might say, "Oh, there's no way this happens in real life and this and that." The crazy thing is, I saw some crazy starts to the drafts last year with Anthony Richardson going number 1 overall. So we don't know what Jaden Daniels looks like in the combine next week. But Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams going, that's something that could happen to where these two teams are needy for a QB, right? So now I got Marvin Harrison and Drake May. I need a quarterback, but guess what? I can't pass up on a talent like Marvin Harrison Jr. So I grab Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake May goes, Neighbors goes, Bowers, Franklin. Now I'm picking at the 108. Now, I think that Rome Odunze is a top 3 wide receiver in this draft. I have Marvin Harrison, Neighbors, and then Rome. For Franklin to go, let's say he gets a great landing spot. Let's say he goes to Kansas City or one of the hottest, let's say he goes to the Chargers or wherever. Then, things change with combine, things change with landing spots. Even I can go J.J. McCarthy right here or Bo Nix, because I need a quarterback. But guess what? I'm not going to pass on Rome Odunze. I'm taking Rome Odunze at the 108, and I'll be happy with that. So Nix goes, Brian Thomas goes, Adonai Mitchell goes, Worthy goes, Jonathan Brooks goes, Blake Corum goes. And this is a real realistic thing. J.J. McCarthy could fall to the 203. And this guy could possibly be a starter this year. So, especially if he goes to ATL, if he gets first round draft capital, then there's no way he makes it to the 203. But even if, let's just say that I drafted Rome Odunze here, I don't mind trading the 203 and the 205 to come back up at the 110, 11, or 12 to grab a JJ McCarthy or even a Bo Nix, because at the end of the day, I still need a QB. But because I'm a team that's kind of like rebuilding to build back up, I don't have to reach for a QB. Since I'm building anyways, it doesn't matter if my record is bad next year. I will rock with one QB, Jalen Hurts, until next year or in season. Maybe I'm able to make a move for a cheap QB, or I grab a handcuff, and who knows? So I'll grab JJ McCarthy right here. And then it's right back up to me again. And right here, I'm looking at Trey Benson. I'm looking at Jatavian Sanders. And this being a tight end premium, those are 2 great picks. Also, Bo Nix, what's his name? Michael Penix is a great pick right here at 205. But because I know it's the computer and, things could happen, or he might not get a good landing spot, or I might just go to Jatavian Sanders just because I want to lock in that tight end 2 in the draft at the 205 is great value. This being tight end premium. Now, because I have 1, 2, 3 picks in a row, I have my choice of Knicks. I love Devontae Walker a lot, and I can grab me a Bucky Irvin or even a Jalen Pope. Mind you, this is all before landing spots. So give me keep calling Penix Bo Nix. Give me Michael Penix Jr. I love Malachi Corley. Let me grab him here, and then let me grab Devontae Walker as well. I love me some Devontae. So Braylon Allen goes, Shipley goes, Bucky Irvin goes, and you guys see, I'm not so overly excited to grab running backs because we don't know how this RB class is going to shake up. Now, although I like Jalen Polk here, I also like Ladd McConkey, which I think McConkey is going to be a guy that goes in the early second. But for this exercise here, I'm going to go Jalen Polk right here. And then Estime went. I love Audric Estime from Notre Dame. Now I grab me Ladd McConkey right here at the 305. As of right now, I think Ladd McConkey is a high second round pick, but it just is what it is. So Davis goes. So then right now I'm looking at Leggett. I'm looking at Marshawn Lloyd. I'm looking at Roman Wilson, Braden Rice. Just so many good potential picks right here. So give me Xavier Leggett. And then I love McMillan as well, part of that trio for Washington. I'm going to go Marshawn Lloyd right here. Just grab a back Spencer Rattler is a guy that I was trying to get in the fourth round or in the late third, but he's gone. I think that Spencer Rattler could get on the field this season. So here at this point, I have back-to-back picks. Give me Roman Wilson. I love Kate Stover a lot. I'm gonna try to see if I can sneak a Kate Stover in the fourth round, and then between Brandon Rice and Jalen McMillan, give me Rice. Now, Kate Stover just went one pick before me, and these are things that are going to happen to you guys in your drafts. People are going to get snatched before you kind of get to them. So give me Jalen McMillan here. I think he gets a great landing spot. And then my next pick is at 409, my last pick. So you have Jamari Trash, you have Jacob Cowan, Detroit. Jonathan Travis just went. So he was another quarterback that I would be willing to take a chance on. Let's look at QBs. Sam Hartman could be a guy, but he might go undrafted in this exercise. I can go pick him right after the draft. So give me Jacob. I love Jamari Trash. This is a deep class. Oh, Dylan Holker. Yes, there are some other tight ends that I like. One being Ben Sinnott. Did Ben Sinnott go? Yeah, Ben Sinnott went. Okay. Well, Dylan Holker, because tight end premium, tight ends hold. Then you can hit the you can now hit that free agency and grab the guy. So just to recap, I was able to get JJ McCarthy at 203, Marshawn Lloyd at the 309, Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 103, Roma Dunze at the 108, Malachi McCorley at the 208, Jatavian Sanders at 205, Devontae Walker at 209, Jalen Polk at the 303, Lamb McConkey at the 305, Leggett, Penix, Roman Wilson, Brandon Rice, Jalen McMillan, and Dylan Holker. Now, this is not so realistic because this might not happen in real life, but this is the power of having so many picks. And if I just have, let's just say, 5 superstars or 6 superstars and then 3 solid guys out of this group, then hey, it was an amazing draft. So guys, this is my video. Hope this helped you guys. I will be coming up with more content. I will be having a lot of rookie profiles coming up. Catch you guys on that next video. Peace.